One thing with quad packs, you're going to use a lot less stone. You do need more pipe. That is the one thing that you have to be aware. If you go ahead and measure your trench, times it by 4. I mean, that's what you're going to need. The pipe is light. There's no labor really to speak of. There's their old system. So there's some triple wall, and they're using just a combination of things that, we don't recommend. The system failed. So here we are getting rid of all the dirt, and you can see that we have a measuring tape and we're checking it, and we just keep checking it and keep digging that trench so that we can make sure that we have room for the quad pack that we're going to put in. Now, I do like going 15 to 16 inches deep on quad packs. I find you're going to get much better results that way. Otherwise, you'll actually, believe it or not, it'll feel a little, for lack of a better word, bouncy. I mean, when I'm tamping the grass back in place, I like having a little more stone on top of the quad pack. So you just got to go, 15, 16 inches deep. Sometimes when we're going through a yard and it happens to be higher in the center, so, at some point somebody crowned the backyard, we then have to put in extra high octane because it's sometimes as deep as 2-3 feet when you have a yard that's humped up like that. So keep that in mind. Now, a lot of homeowners, a lot of DIYers been struggling with how do you tie all those pipes together. So I'm going to make this easy for you guys. You just put an end plug in the high octane. You only need one of them. And it's got to be a bottom pipe, of course, because you want all the water to empty out of your trench. But you take the bottom pipe, and if you're taking it to a ditch, obviously you don't put an end plug in that one. That one actually daylights. Or if you're going to a storm drain, you do a core tap and hook it up. But you only hook up the bottom one. All the other high octane runs, all of them that are laying on top of the, we'll refer to that one as the main, or the feeder pipe, if you will. You can just lay all the other runs with just the Baughman tile end plug. The high octane has so much inlet, you can see right through the pipe. It's like looking through a screen door. The water just moves right through it. It creates larger void, creates more void than stone, so that's why we're using it this way. We love it. And if your infrastructure backs up, if your ditch backs up, if the streams back up, depending on where you're taking your yard water, you now have a system that can contain that water until whatever it may be, ditch, storm drain. When it finally starts moving downstream and the storm subsides, then your quad pack will empty. So that's what's nice. It gives you a lot of reservoir. Now, I know in Florida, the engineers, they're drawing up all the yards with these reservoirs. You have to come up with some sort of system to where you can contain your water during these unbelievable rain events that Florida sees. They'll actually get storms that they measure the rain in feet. So we've had a lot of people in Florida have a lot of success with our quad packs, and they're very happy with the performance of their yard drain. Over the years, you guys have seen us use a lot of round rock. We used 6A for quite some time. It packs real nice. It doesn't compact, so you still have the voids in between it, but it just does lock up the pipes real well. If you have a pothole, you see how we have that run right there? That could be a blind inlet. What a blind inlet is, you dig that trench out and you just fill it full of large stone. So that way you're not fooling around with T's, easy T's, cross T's, whatever you may be. We do actually Y the Baughman Gold, which is the roof runoff system in this system. So we have 3 high octane in our quad and 1 of the Baughman Gold. And right there, you can see where we use PVC tape, we wide. That is just because we wanted to get the roof runoff and the French drain water all into the same core and tap so that we didn't have to core and tap the storm drain twice. There was no need for it. That core and tap will move 240 gallons per minute. And in this yard drain system with the roof runoff, that's sufficient. So we do size the systems. See how wide that is? Look at all that stone. So we're locking it up. We're locking it up real nice. That's what I'm talking about. You know, you do want to go 15, 16 inches deep with quads. That way you at least have some stone on top. You know, then you're going to be able to drive over it with lawnmowers. You know, some people have situations where they back a motorhome in their backyard, or, you know, say a boat, a large fiberglass boat that weighs a lot. Now, Baughman Tile does recommend, if you're going to be driving over top of it with large tractors and recreational vehicles, you know, they want to see you put, you know, 12 inches of stone on top of the pipe. And then that way you won't hurt the pipe, you won't damage the system. So I do know some subscribers that have had to go, you know, a couple feet deep to make that possible. So everybody's situation is different, but for most of us, we're not driving, you know, big motor homes and parking big fiberglass heavy boats in our backyard for most people. So the way you see us doing this install, it's fine for supporting large lawnmowers, large riding lawnmowers with large operators. We've had no problems. We've had nothing but success. The quad packs do dry out the yards better for sure. You have, think about it, all that void. Once the water empties the system after a rain event, you actually got some air circulating under there. I mean, talk about drying out a yard. This yard was really, really bad. So I recommended to the homeowner, let's do 2 French drains. I want to do parallel French drains, and we did connect them, as I said. And in this case, we did connect them as far as, you know, with the high octane. You can see it all sticking up out of the ground right there with 4 high octane. It's not necessary. DIY, you don't need to do that. Don't struggle with all those couplers on top of one another so close. You don't need to. Just put some large round rock, because the round rock has the voids. Everybody's always in the comment section saying, what do we use for rock? Should I use limestone? Only if you have no choice. Limestone or any crushed stone, it does literally compact, and it doesn't leave much void. Round rock, it's kind of like marbles. You know, it doesn't compact like the crushed rock, and it keeps its voids. It holds its voids. So you can see that stone is all round, you know, and there's just big voids throughout it. Again, you don't need to run these pipes connecting the 2 parallel drains. You can just put stone in that, and I'll show you that in the future. You see right there how they got 3 of the Baughman end plugs and then 1 T, because they're just tying in the bottom pipe. You know, so that's all you have to do. We can make this super easy for you guys, because in the beginning we were, you know, trying to connect everything, and it's just not necessary. The results are the same. If you follow what I'm trying to teach you here, you're going to have great results, and you know what? You're going to enjoy your DIY project that much more, because fittings on top of fittings, that's a struggle. You know, and trying to wire everything together, you know, again, you know, that could be tough. Fabric, too, is another one I get asked all the time. So our 4-ounce fabric, which you see in most of our videos, our 4-ounce fabric, that will move 140 gallons per minute through a square foot. So that's screaming. I mean, that's moving some water, and that's our go-to. I use that just about, well, as far as these videos go, it's probably 90% of the videos we're using 4-ounce fabric. It's unusual for us to use the 8-ounce fabric. It moves 90 gallons per minute through a square foot. So it slows your system down. Now, as far as longevity, what's better? Well, without a doubt, the 8-ounce fabric. But it is more expensive, and I guess it all depends on how bad your water problem is. If you're not trying to move thousands of gallons of water, then the 8-ounce fabric might work just fine. I had some 8-ounce that I put at my house, and I just unearthed it this past summer. I unearthed it because I was doing an addition, and I just happened to pull it up. And I'm not kidding when I say that 8-ounce fabric, it didn't look but about a day old, and it was in the ground 20 years. So yeah, that 8-ounce fabric, if you have an estate home and it's going to be a legacy home, things like that, or maybe a family cabin or cottage, you know, I can see where if you're handing that down to a family member and you want that fabric to to hold up for decades and decades to come, then the 8-ounce fabric, no doubt, is the one you want to go to. But most of our clients, they want to move water fast. We have the high octane pipe, which is the fastest yard drain pipe on the planet. We're moving water faster than we ever did before. And in order to make that possible, we do have to use the 4-ounce fabric. You got to feed this pipe as quick as you can. In our quad pack, we do have a roof runoff system, which is the Baughman Gold. The reason why we only have one pipe for the whole roof runoff system, the more water you can push through this pipe, the cleaner you'll keep that pipe. Shingle, gravel, and debris, they'll lay in the valleys. And if you can hook 2 or more downspouts to one of these 4-inch pipes, you cannot believe how much water you can move. 240 gallons per minute through a 4-inch pipe. Keep that in mind. So unless you have a big house, we usually just run 1 per side. So you'll tie 3, sometimes 4 on each run, and that's fine. It'll keep that clean. Here we are, we're putting the stone on top. You know, we're at about 15, 16 inches deep so that our quad pack has enough stone on top. We cut that piece of concrete out to get that in. Sometimes you have to do that. So you could rent that at a rental store. Now, I want to take you to another job site because here we are. We're pretty much done with this one. And I want to show you a quad and how we picked up. Oh, actually, it's going to be 5 pipes. So here we go. In the comment sections on a lot of videos, people are asking about the connections for quad packs, tri packs, whatever it may be. So I want to show you guys. We use the Baughman Tile Company's end plug. It goes inside the high octane, and it's barbed and it does not come out. So you don't have to struggle down here trying to connect these with a Y coupler. What's the point? Throwing water through this fence and water going through that pipe into the bottom one is the same thing. The water's going to pass right through it. There's so much inlet with the high octane that the water just passes right through it. There's more reservoir in the system with high octane than stone. So we got 2 pipes. Now the trench gets deeper over here. So we dropped in a 3rd, then we dropped in a 4th. Look at that, dropped in a 5th. This was super deep back here because they crowned the backyard. Now, crowning the backyard works if there's a storm drain on both sides of the yard. In this case, because it was crowned, the surface water couldn't drain past this point. So now we have 5 of the high octane in one trench. Okay, so now, because it was crowned and that was the deepest part of the dig, we drop a line. We go to 4. We drop another. We go to 3. Drop another. With a Baughman Tile Company's end plug. And then we're going to finish this out with 2 high octane.